in today's video I'm going to talk about the Bobbi Brown Full Coverage Concealer. And if you don't know me yet, my name is Melissa van Dijk and I'm a makeup artist. And as I mentioned in the previous videos, I ordered some stuff from the Bobbi Brown website, and the concealer is the last one, which I wanted to share with you guys as well, because I'm ready to give this review for you guys so that you know if you should purchase it or not. Now first, I also would like to share some information about the product. Then I'm also going to demonstrate you on how it will perform so that you will see how it looks on myself, just so that you get an idea of if you like the finish or not. And later on, I'm also going to share my thoughts on it as well. So first, with the information, I gathered some very interesting information, which I wanted to share with you right away. And this is when I had a look at the Bobbi Brown website. I had a look at the US Bobbi Brown website, the Australian and the UK one, and I discovered some interesting facts, because they always give you a little bit of a description on how what it should do, how you should use it, etc. And it basically says that it's a full coverage concealer, that it will cover up any dark circles or uneven tones, which you can do with basically using this product. Now what they also say is that at the Australian and the US website, they say that you should do a triangle like thing under your eyes so that you can, like, this is basically how they explain you how you should use the product. But on the UK side, they just say that you should use it around your eye area, which is basically this part right here, which is very interesting, which basically will explain why people that I see still want to do the triangle thing. Because if the US and the Australian website in like beauty products in general will tell you that you need to do a triangle thing, and then you're wondering that you are looking like a clown later on, or that it will look cakey and you use too much product and you feel uncomfortable and you look like having on a mask, then this is maybe why, because this is how they explain it on those two websites. On the UK website, it basically says that you should use it around your eye area, very light hand, and that you should blend it in with your finger. Now, which is very interesting, because if you watch my videos, then you know that I'm totally against the triangle thing, just because I feel like this is a waste of product. You don't need that much product under your eyes, and it just will look awful later on in real life, which basically like, if you hear some people that are disappointed, like why can't they get the finish on how they always look on Instagram and YouTube, etc., then it's because of the lights, filters and tons of product. Now what we are on this channel, I'm all about natural beauty. I'm about enhancing your natural beauty so that you can wear the product also in real life, which means that I'm going to say it, I'm going to keep the focus basically on the UK side, because this is how I like to use it as well. I'm not going to do the triangle thing, and if you're listening and also watching this video, please don't do it, because it will look awful later on and you're disappointed and you're going to waste tons of money and product, which is not it's not worth it. So what I'm going to show you today is how you can use it in a natural way in real life application, and also I'm going to share the tools that I'm going to use to apply it as well. So let's get started with the application. Now I'm going to demonstrate you on how I'm going to use it also for myself, and then also on the other side I'm going to show you how it basically tells you on the UK website how you can blend it in, and this is also with your finger. So I'm going to use a damp sponge for this side right now, and I'm also going to talk about the formula as well. Because it's a full coverage concealer, I'm mainly going to focus it towards the inner corner, because this is the area where I have the darkness, the blueness, and I'm also going to use it on top. Now, I personally like to use it with a damp sponge. So this is a damp sponge. If you like to use it with a sponge, just make sure that it's damped. And then you're going to press it in light-handed. It's a little bit sticky. It's also thicker, but at first I was like shocked that it feels like this, because it has like a strange texture that I've never experienced before with any other like concealers. Normally concealers are very, very dry, but this one definitely is that it's more sticky and it kind of moisturizes my skin. So if you have any dry under eye areas, then this one is beautiful because it won't enhance any dryness. It just keeps it moisturized, and as you can see, it gives me a beautiful glow. Of course, if you're going to set it now with powder, then the glow will disappear, but it won't look as drying as some concealers can, because I've had the experience in the past that the concealer is too dry, and if you're going to set it with some powder, then it will look awful at the end. So with this one, what I like to do is with the sponge, pressing it in. I'm not doing too much movement, and because of the stickiness, it's just beautiful as it will stay put on where you're going to apply it. It says also that it's a full coverage concealer, and it is also kind of waterproof and sweat proof, which I have to say I haven't tried it. I didn't jump in the pool, but I also can tell you that it's very long wearing, as I've been using it now for some time, and I like it a lot. And because of the stickiness, it won't, like, I mean, a concealer always creases because you're going to apply the concealer where you have fine lines and also where you have a lot of movement. So it will crease right here, but the major difference that I discovered is because of the stickiness, it won't like run off your face basically, but it just stays put into your lines. So if it's going to crease, it stays in the lines and it won't move around somewhere else. So this is something that I really like, because this will tell you that you have a little bit more time to blend it in and work on the rest of your makeup before you're going to apply any powder on top. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to set it with some loose powder. Of course, you can go with any powder that you like to set the under eye area. And I'm going to use it on a brush like this, and I'm pressing it on top. So this is the way on how I like to use the product, and I also like to use it on top of my eyelid area, as this is the area where I have some discoloration. Now, what I wanted to say is that I'm also going to use some product on there as well, and because it's a full coverage concealer, you might think that it feels very heavy. It actually doesn't feel heavy. It's a little bit sticky, which I have to admit was a very strange feeling at the beginning, but then I got used to it, and I just like to use it also to prepare my eyelid area if I'm going to do any eye makeup looks, or just set it, use a bit of mascara, and I'm good to go. So this is basically how I like to use the product itself, using the sponge as well to blend it into the skin. And as you can see, it gives this beautiful glow, so it won't look drying. And then if you're going to set it with powder, then you can also press it on top and it just will mattify itself, but it won't look dry. Of course, I'm not going to use a ton. I'm also not going to bake. I'm just going to set the concealer. So now on the other side, I'm also going to share with you the application on how they say on the UK website as well. Now on the other side, I'm going to use my finger to blend it in, which works beautifully as well. So it just depends on what you personally prefer. I'm going to start off with the under eye area as well. And this is also the way they explain it on the UK website, that you're going to use your finger. Now I'm more like a person that likes to use a sponge and a brush rather than my finger, but it still will do a beautiful job, as you just can do tapping motions, first blending it in, and then just take your time and work it into the skin. Now, if you're going to use your finger, you might feel the stickiness to it, but then you're just getting used to it. So don't be scared at first. Give it some time and try it out a few times before you're going to give it to a friend or so. Because that's what I first thought as well. I just thought that, oh no, I'm not going to like this product, and I spent so much money on it that I didn't want to take it back and try it again. But then I didn't have another concealer, because this was the one that I ordered because I was running out of another one. So I just had to use it, and I promise you, if you are getting used to the texture and also the stickiness, you are able to work with it, and it will look beautiful and gorgeous on you as well. It just also depends on what skin type you have, because I'm now going to blend it in with my finger, which, as you can see, it gives me also a beautiful glow. And also, I would say, depending on your skin type, let's say you have a dry skin type, then you definitely also can just let it as it is, as it also claims that because of the stickiness it won't move around, which I can tell you is true, because I had already the concealer on and I haven't powdered it in for some time. But just because I personally like to use powder doesn't mean that you have to use powder. Because of the stickiness, it will stay put. So if you have dry under eye areas and you don't like to use any powder on top, then this is also a good option for you, where you don't have to use any powder, but you still have a beautiful skin and you have a concealed area, and it just will give you a natural glow as well. Now I'm going to do the same on top of the eyes as well. I'm going to use my finger as well. Now for on top of the eyelid areas, I personally like to use powder. Doesn't matter like for what reason or for which concealer. It's just because I have a lot of movement going on right here that I always like to use powder. So I definitely would say use powder on top of your eyelid area, but you don't have to if it's like underneath your eyelid area, like right here. So I'm going to use my finger, blending it in. And then you can also use a clean finger. And then you have also a beautiful glow on here as well. Now this is the area where I would say it looks beautiful. It will give you that natural glow as well, as it's not overpowering glowing, but it just will give you a beautiful glow. But for me personally, this is the limit. Like I would say I could live with not powdering right here, but I have to powder on top of the eyelid area, especially if I want to go into some eyeshadow. Or what you can do is just use the concealer itself and then go into some eyeshadow, because this is also how you will set it as well. Just because of the movement right here, you will end up with a line as well. And this is where it creases a little bit more rather than having it under the eyes, because this line you won't see, but this one you will see. So it's totally, I mean, it's up to you. I like to use it the way that I've showed you earlier, but I can also understand if you have very dry skin, just don't set it at all and it will look beautiful and stay put all day long as well. Now those were the two ways on how you can apply this concealer. Of course you could also use a concealer brush if you like to, if this is your routine. It just will work beautifully, as it will give you a beautiful and natural blend, and you don't need a lot of product because it's a full coverage concealer as well. So make sure that you're going to start off with a little bit and then blend it in, see how you like it, and if needed you can add a bit more, but I just would recommend you using as less as possible, just because it is a full coverage concealer and you won't load it too much because it's still your under eye area or on top of your eyes. Now this concealer comes also in 15 different shades, so it comes from light, medium to dark shades. I am in the shade Ivory, which I believe is the second lightest shade. So what you also could do is you could use a lighter shade for your eye area to brighten it up, and you can also use a skin tone shade that's matching with your skin as well to just cover up any blemishes or breakouts that you might have. So it's like multi-purpose, and it also depends on what you want to use this concealer for. Now it will cost you around 52 Australian dollars, which is a little bit high up in price, but I have to say we all know that Bobbi Brown is a little bit more a high-end brand, so it's basically up to you if you're ready to pay that money for this concealer or not. I am not disappointed that I purchased this one myself, as it will give me a beautiful finish and I like to use it a lot, and also how it sets and how the finish will look on myself, as it isn't drying but a little bit sticky. So I'm really happy on how this one performs. I like it a lot. I mean, if you feel like that the finish of how it looks like on my face suits you as well, and also like you like the finish, then I definitely would say go for it. And also if you're ready to pay for it, I mean, go for it, because I'm really happy with how it looks. I'm really happy with my purchase, so I'm not regretting it. I'm really happy. So I know I've said it now quite sometimes, but it's true. And basically this is the last product that I have from Bobbi Brown from my purchased order. So I hope that also you like this review, and still if you have any questions then you can also let me know down below in the comments, or if you have any like recommendation or where you need help with an application, you know that I'm here to help you out as well. And as I said, don't use too much, because less is more and you're going to spend 52 Australian dollars for it. So keep this in mind. Now, would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Just go for it, try it out and have fun with it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you soon in the next one. Bye!